How do you know when it's the right time to leave a job? Well, when it was my time, I had absolutely no idea. All I knew was that every day I stayed, the harder it was to leave. I became more fused to the corporate structure, less independent, less portable. And here's the thing, nobody is forcing you to stay. You are choosing to, so own that. And ask yourself this, not when should I leave, but how long can I afford to stay? See, waiting isn't neutral, it's expensive, and it costs you these three things: the trap of specialization, the shelf life of expertise, and the success prison. In the next 10 minutes, I'll walk you through each one, how to avoid it, with the neuroscience that backs it up. And I'll throw in a bonus section on the timing paradox for those who manage to stay till the end. Okay, let's talk about the trap nobody talks about, the specialization prison. I know why you're staying in corporate. You think you're building expertise. In reality, you are building dependency. Let me show you what I mean. Year one in a new role, you learn the systems, you build relationships, you figure out how to be valuable. Your skills are still relatively portable. You could probably transfer them somewhere else with minimum translation. Year 5, you're the go-to person. You know every stakeholder, every process, every political landmine. You're incredibly valuable, but only to this company. And then year 10, someone asks you, what would you do outside of here? And there is this silence, this void, because your expertise has become so specialized, so context-dependent, that you genuinely can't articulate your value outside the org chart. The research backs this up. Workers aged 55 to 64 have a median tenure of around 10 years, more than 3 times that of workers aged 25 to 34, who clocks in at just around 3 years. And get this, 52% of workers aged 60 to 64 have been with their employers for at least 10 years. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to see yourself anywhere else. I've seen this pattern everywhere. The founder who can't take a week off because they're the only person who knows how everything works. The executive who can't articulate their value outside of their title. And they're not lazy and they're not unambitious. They're just trapped by their own competence and their own specialization. Every month you stay, you get better at whatever you do. In my case, being CEO. And worse at everything else. Your brain is optimizing for the game you're playing. And the longer you play it, the harder it becomes to see any other game. So the question is, are you specialized enough? You can teach an old dog new tricks. Trap number 2. The expertise shelf life. And yes, it's backed by neuroscience. Your brain is rewiring itself around your current context every single day. Here is what Harvard Health found. Neuroplasticity, which is your brain ability to adapt and rewire itself, is most robust during development. Your brain develops into your mid to late 20s and then it slowly shrinks. The rate of shrinkage increases after age of 60. But here is the part that matters for your career. The brain optimizes for what you do repeatedly. A study in Nature found that aging compromises less subnetwork segregation, which means your brain becomes less modular and less flexible. The lower the system specialization, the worse the episodic memory scores. Your brain is literally becoming more rigid, more optimized for your current context. Think about what does this mean. Every day you show up to the same role, your brain strengthens the neural pathways associated with that role. It prunes away the connections you're not using. It's not being wasteful, it's just being efficient. But efficiency in one direction means atrophy in every other direction. I should have seen this coming. When I left Citibank to build my portfolio career, I had an advantage. I could still see my expertise as portable. I could still imagine extracting the skills and applying them elsewhere. 2 years later, much harder. 5 years later, maybe nearly impossible. The expertise doesn't disappear. It fuses with the context. And once the fusion happens, separating them becomes surgery. Here is what I wish I understood earlier. The best time to build a portfolio career isn't when you're ready to leave. It's when leaving still feels slightly insane. Because that's when you still have the psychological safety to experiment. That's when your brain is still flexible enough to see outside the container. The window for seeing your expertise as portable doesn't stay open forever. And once it closes, you're not trapped because you lack skills or expertise. You're trapped because your brain can't compute any other application for them. The prison you built from success. Every year you wait, it gets worse. Not better, worse. Your salary goes up, which makes living scarier. Your life improves, your title improves, which makes starting over feel like failure. Your network deepens, but it becomes structure dependent. You can't take it with you anywhere. You're building a prison out of success. And here is the cruelest part. You're doing it completely voluntarily. Let me show you how the trap works. It starts with compensation. According to research on golden handcuffs, those financial incentives designed to keep you locked in companies, like using stock options, deferred compensation, bonuses, pensions, supplemental executive retirement, and so on and so forth, these aren't perks. These are handcuffs. And they work. Facet Wealth found that losing a valuable employee costs the employer 3 to 4 times their salary to replace them. So they'll pay you just enough, structured just right, that walking away feels financially catastrophic. The research is clear. Golden handcuffs can lead to decreased job satisfaction, burnout, and poor performance. Employees feel trapped in their current role, where their primary incentive to stay is centered around future rewards rather than genuine satisfaction with their work today. You know this feeling. You wake up on Monday and think, oh, I should leave, I can't stand this anymore. But then you remember, the stock options don't vest for another 2 years, the bonus hits in 6 months, and the pension unlocks at 10 years. So you stay, not because you want to, because leaving costs too much, or at least you perceive that it costs too much. Here is what the research on career regret reveals. The cost of staying is higher. A 2024 study found that 66% of workers have work-related regrets, and the number one regret? Not taking more chances. Specifically, 38% regret staying at the job too long. Not leaving too soon, staying too long. But data shows something fascinating. Regrets stem from inaction rather than action. People who took risks, who quit jobs, changed careers, negotiated rises, 72% don't regret it. But people who played it safe, they're haunted by what they didn't do. So look, if any of this is landing, you're probably in one of 2 places. First, you know you need to make a move, but you don't know how to extract your expertise from the context you are at the moment. Or, second, you're building something on the side, but you don't have the infrastructure to make it real. This is exactly why I built the Portfolio Career Accelerator. And the first cohort is going now. It's happening at the moment.
So the accelerator is not a course, it's the system I wish I had when I was trying to figure out
how to leave Citibank without burning everything down. Inside the accelerator, you will learn how to audit your expertise and make it portable, how to build revenue streams while you're still employed, how to structure your portfolio career so you're living from abundance, not scarcity, how to avoid the mistakes I made, like waiting too long and leaving too late. The link is in the description. If you're serious about this, stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time was 2 years ago, and the next best time is now. And now the timing paradox. It will feel insane. So when it is time, here's the paradox. The best time to build a portfolio career is not when you're ready to leave. It's when leaving still feels slightly insane. If you think about it, this stat should change everything. 97% of self-employed professionals say they would never go back to traditional employment. Not because corporate jobs are terrible, but because once you tasted optionality, dependence feels like suffocation. Here is what I did wrong. I waited until I was ready to leave. Then I left. Then I tried to figure it out from scarcity. That's completely backward. The right way is build while you're employed. Validate while you have run away. Leave when you're already proven it works. The Kaufman Foundation found that in 2018, 86% of new entrepreneurs were opportunity entrepreneurs. That means that they started from a position of stability, not desperation. Necessity entrepreneurs can succeed, but the data is clear. Starting from abundance beats starting from scarcity. Here's the infrastructure I built for you and I use for all my coaching and in my accelerator and portfolio and Change is Possible community. Phase 1, expertise audit. You ask the questions, what am I actually good at? Stripped of a title and context. What problems can I solve that aren't company specific? What would someone pay me outside of this structure? Phase 2, validation. Can I get one client to pay me for this? Can I deliver results that lead to referrals? Can I do this on nights and weekends without burning out? Phase 3, infrastructure. Can I systemize this so it doesn't require 60 hours a week? Can I build a portfolio or income streams, not just one? Can I create assets that generate revenue while I sleep? And phase 4, the transition. Do I have 12 months of runway? Have I already replaced my salary with portfolio income? Am I living from abundance or scarcity? So here's the answer to when it is the right time to leave your job. For most of you watching this, it's now. The right time to leave is when you can still see outside of the bubble and outside the container. The right time to build is when failure won't destroy you. The right time to act is when not yet still feels like a choice. Not when it feels like the only option. For most of you, that time is now.